Hello,
Perfect.
thanks for joining us.
Hello. I am Kate McStraw, the executive producer of Viv Gordon Company. And Viv, would you like to say hello as well?
Hello, I'm Viv. What type? Oh, I'm the artistic director of Viv Gordon Company.
Should I share some slides, Viv? Is that, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it. I'm ready.
Great. Okay.
So the training programme is for adult child sex abuse survivors aged 18 plus, and it's for anyone who has a creative talent that they would like to share with our community. I think one of the things that we've already received as feedback about that is that lots of us don't think we're talented. And so probably that's internalized stigma. And so it's worth saying that up front, that in our UpFront Survivors program, that if you enjoy being creative and have something you like doing, whether that's crocheting or composing music or acting or printmaking, whatever it is, we can support you to share your creative talent. It's not a training program to teach you to be creative. It's about learning how to share and run workshops. And the sessions will be held in person in Bristol. And so you need to be within travelling distance of Bristol. The sessions will run from 10:30, so you need to, I suppose it's up to you how far you're willing to travel, and we will be covering travelling expenses. And so hopefully that's accessible to people within quite a wide radius of Bristol. Next slide, please. We were laughing at, we're not very good at being formal, and so we were laughing earlier about having to go, next slide, please, things like that. So we're Viv Gordon Company, we're a CIC. Our work is all about celebrating survival as a creative act. So we believe that we're inherently creative as a community, that we wouldn't be here if we weren't inherently creative, resourceful. We have a strengths-based approach. Oh, great, we've got a question, thank you so much. So a CIC is a community interest company, and it's sort of halfway between, it's like a not-for-profit business that has charitable interests, but we're not a charity. So thank you for asking that question. I hope that clarifies. Let me know if it doesn't and I'll expand, or maybe Kate will expand because she's better at that stuff, to be honest. So all of our work is a creative campaign to increase visibility, voice and community amongst adult survivors of child sexual abuse. So there's 11 million of us in the UK, 1 in 6 people, and we lack community and visibility and voice. So that's why our work is focused in that way. And one of the ways that we do that is by championing survivor leadership. So we're working, this program in particular, the UpFront Survivors Creative Leadership Program, is a particular project aiming to support survivors into cultural leadership. And then the idea is that when we're more connected as a community, we can make more change and our voices will be louder. Great. So we're running the programme in partnership with 2 support organisations in Bristol, with SARSAS and the Greenhouse. So SARSAS is, I think, the largest survivor support organisation in the Southwest. They're based in Bristol and Taunton. And the Greenhouse work with children and young people and their families who've experienced child sexual abuse. And we're all in it together. And so partly it's to do with them looking at alternatives to one-to-one therapy, because we all know waiting lists are very long. And so we're looking at sort of creative approaches, peer support, activism as a way of making of supporting us as a community. Sorry, I got distracted by Karen has just posted some signposting information. Obviously we're talking about we won't be talking about child sexual abuse, but we're here as a community of child sex abuse survivors, and so there's some support information in the chat if you find that you need to talk to someone during or after this webinar. Thanks, Karen. So the Creative Leaders Training is 10 sessions that will be held in person in Bristol, and they'll cover lots of different skills that you need to be able to run your own creative workshops. So that will be all sorts. We'll go through in a bit more detail, I think, on another slide, but it'll be everything from sort of practical things about doing risk assessments and things, and to sort of how to break down your creative skill to be able to share it with other people, and also how to hold a safe creative space for other CSA survivors, as well as how to look after yourself as a survivor in that space. And then towards the end of the programme, so after 9 sessions, everyone will be supported to co-facilitate a workshop on with their creative talent. So you'll be facilitating, but you'll be supported by someone else from our cohort. Is that the right word, of trainees? Sounds incredibly posh. Cohort of trainees. And so you'll run a workshop in what will be a specific pop-up cultural space for survivors and allies. So people will be able to come without self-identifying as being a survivor. And then on our 10th session, we'll be celebrating our achievements and reviewing how it's gone and thinking about what we want to do next. So these are some of the areas covered in the training. So we'll be looking at communication skills, listening skills, how to facilitate a session, and building our confidence to lead. One of the things that we'll be doing through the training is having different guest artists coming, so different survivor artists coming and leading workshops that we can all enjoy, but also to see different ways of holding a space, because I'll be leading the training, but obviously I do it my way and we're all different. And so this isn't about us all doing it the same. It's about us being exposed to a range of different leadership styles and working out what our leadership style is. Then you'll be supported to develop your own creative workshop. So we'll help you think about what aspect of your creative talent you want to share, what's practical to deliver within a 2-hour session, say, and how to sort of break that down, and how to budget for resources and all of that stuff, and what participants might need to know before they come to sign up. So everything around developing, marketing and delivering your own workshop, evaluating your own workshop, learning from experience. We'll be looking at safe and inclusive practice. So that will be about keeping yourself safe as a leader, and also holding a safe space and an inclusive space for whoever comes to your workshop. I've already said delivering creative activities. I think this one about being a reflective leader is a really important thing that will be really central to our practice. So all leaders, all good leaders, this is my belief, are learning all the time. You don't ever sort of reach a point where you know everything and know how to do everything. And particularly in this space that we're working in, where we're working with people who are really taking a risk to come into the space and work with us, and to come into a space that is specifically for CSA survivors. We're going to encounter different challenges. We're going to meet people with lots of different needs. We're just going to keep sort of reflecting and learning as we go along. This isn't about being perfect and getting everything right. It's about learning how to go on a journey, I suppose, and it supporting you to go on that journey. So we've talked about observing different leadership styles, getting inspired. There we go. And then, yes, like I said, at the end, you will deliver your own workshop with our support. And then in the final session, we'll think about what you might want to do next. Great. So what to expect at the training sessions? Oh, so I'm already having a reaction to must attend all 10 sessions. I don't like the word must. So I think I probably wrote that word, but now I'm having a response to it. So the idea is that people need to commit to all 10 sessions as far as possible. That's so that we can go on this journey, because it's quite a, even though 10 sessions sounds like quite a lot, it's quite a short time to go from, everyone will have different starting points, but to go on our journey as a group. So we're asking people to commit as far as possible to all 10 sessions. The sessions will be led by me, and there will be different survivor artists coming and different guest speakers. So there'll be people from SARSAS and the Greenhouse, our two support sector partners, who will be coming and talking, sharing their knowledge around working with survivors and also around signposting to services. Kate will be coming and sharing some of her expertise around access and inclusion. And there'll also be a wellbeing support person with us all the time, who will be available for anyone who needs to take a bit of time out, who needs some space just to ground, or to, sorry, I'm so distracted by the chat. I'm really bad at that. So, and if you need any support, if you need listening support, there'll be a wellbeing person there as well. And also, I'll be working with Kayla Harkins, who'll be assisting me to facilitate the sessions and helping with sort of practical stuff around, you know, I'm not very practical, so she'll be doing everything. Like if we've got handouts or anything, she'll be doing all of that stuff. So we'll be doing lots of different creative, practical and reflective activities. So that will be things like thinking about what our strengths are as leaders, what we want to develop, learning different specific things like risk assessments or different ways of planning a session. We'll be practicing delivering creative activities within our group. So we'll be delivering short, like 10-minute activities to each other to practice on each other. I think that's maybe one of the hardest things, because we're doing that with people that we know and that we're around all the time. So I always feel like when we can do that, we can almost lead any group. So lots and lots of different activities. It will be friendly and informal, because I can't really do formal, and it will be a supportive space and a safer, respectful environment. So it's really hard to say what's a safe space for each other, because we all have different needs, but we're aiming to be a safer space, and we're very open to hearing what you need for it to be a safe space for you, and an accessible space for you. So when we, after the interview workshop that we'll be doing, everyone who's offered a place will be having a one-to-one conversation with you about any access needs that you might have. Kate's going to talk about this more in a minute, so I'm going to sort of park that there and let her explain that in a minute. There we go. I think I've covered everything on there.
Yeah, looks good.
Great. So this is sort of a what's in it for you kind of thing. And so this is about supporting you on your leadership journey and developing your skills to communicate to a group, to hold a safe space, to plan and deliver workshops. So we anticipate that people will build confidence as well as skills through the session. sessions, and that you will have an increased sense of CSA survivor community. You might already have a strong sense of that, but we also know that lots of people don't have a strong sense of that, and that's part of what we want to build for each other, like a supportive, creative community that we can work within. You'll have a greater understanding of safe and accessible arts practice for CSA survivors. You will run your own workshop, and you will be supported financially to attend. So we'll cover all your expenses, including things like childcare or other caring responsibilities, any access costs, and then also everyone will receive a bursary of £500 just as a it's not a payment, it's like to support you to come, like maybe because you won't be able to work that day because you'll be with us those days. There we go. And so I've run courses like this before, not specifically for CSA survivors, although I have had CSA survivors in the training because we're in every room. We're in every environment because we're everywhere. But I've run a very similar training for adults with mental health needs. And when we have done that previously, people have gone on to do different things afterwards. So some people have gone on to volunteer on projects that I've run or with other organisations in community arts contexts. Some people have used what they've learned to go on to study in further or higher education, and people have fed back that they've used the stuff they've learned on the training to, help them feel confident to write their application, or they've used language from what they've learned on the course in their interview, or that sort of thing. So it's helped people into that space. The same that people have fed back that they've gone on to apply for jobs that they might not have applied for previously, using the skills that they've learned. Some people have gone on to develop their own self-employed creative careers. And sometimes we've been able to sort of support that with mentoring and stuff like that as well. And then other times people have just used the skills they've learned in context they're working in already. So somebody who is doing youth work started doing more creative activities with the young people they were working with as a result of doing the programme. So there's lots of different ways that you might use the skills that you gain through the training. I think it's really important that we're really clear that we don't have jobs to offer people. We barely have jobs ourselves. No, we do have jobs, but we don't. This isn't like a recruitment program to come and work with Viv Gordon Company. This is a training to support you to develop your own creative practice and creative leadership skills for you to take into whatever context you want to take them. Oh, there's my face being blown around by the wind. And there's Kayla's face. So we'll be leading the group, and like I said, there'll be a trained counsellor at all of our sessions, and other people will drop in, including different CSA survivor artists and people from the different organisations that are partnering on the project. I think this is over to you, isn't it, Kate?
I think it is. I was about to say you can take a breath now. Thank you, Viv. That was great. Yes. So now you get to hear my voice, and Viv can relax for a moment. So to reiterate, the training programme will take place in central Bristol. It will be over 10 sessions. They start in December, which I know is quite soon, but the first one in December is our sort of induction welcoming one where we get to meet each other. And then the rest of the dates will run from January to March. Sessions run between 10:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. each day. We will tell the if you're offered a place, we'll then tell you where the venue is, and that's for safeguarding purposes. I won't run through every single date and time because that will take a long time, and it's probably quite a hard thing to hear audibly anyway. So all of the dates and times are in the info pack, which is available on our website. And Karen has just put a direct link for that in the chat as well. And it says again at the bottom here, it's essential that you're able to commit to the whole course. We really appreciate that life happens and that sometimes things change. We also really recognise that in our community, it's really important that we have choice, because choice has often been taken away from us, from our community. So to reassure, if you're interested, please take this one step at a time. Start by deciding whether you want to apply, start by choosing to meet with us, start by choosing to accept a place if offered. So I would say one step at a time, and look at those dates to ensure that you can, in principle, come to all of them, because it will really help your journey if you can attend as many as possible. I'm just checking. No, Karen's just putting some useful information in the chat if needed. It's all on our website as well. Okay, so is it right for me? I think we've had several people already contact us to say that they're interested, but they're not sure they're the right fit for the course, which seems to be that way round, rather than wondering if the course is right for them. So we're looking to support 10 people who have a creative skill that they want to share with others. It doesn't mean that you have learnt that at degree level, doesn't mean you've ever been taught that skill, but you might have a self-taught skill that you want to share with others. We are looking for the whole cohort, as Viv was saying, to be CSA survivors aged 18 plus, and you will need to be in travelling distance of central Bristol because that's where it's being held. So think about your practicalities, whether that is feasible for you to attend those sessions in person. The course is designed to help you build confidence and feel part of a creative community for CSA survivors. It's really common in our community that confidence is very low, and so that's part of the program's journey, is to support that. So you don't need to come in being confident, feeling able to deliver a workshop, because that's the point of the training, is that we will support that process. You don't need to have any experience of leading groups or any qualifications to take part. Some people might have, some people won't have, and the program will support everyone to be able to co-facilitate, so with someone else, their first creative workshop by the end of the program.
Can I just chip in one thing and just say that a couple of people have contacted us and sort of gone, I don't know if I have a creative skill. I do a bit of this, I do a bit of that. I like these things. And a couple of people have contacted us and said, I don't know if what I do is creative. Like, it might be you really enjoy walking with people, or that you know, it doesn't have to be like you do embroidery thing or I am a performer thing. It might be that it's what you do and enjoy doing is something sort of less tangible than a specific skill, and I would encourage you to still apply if that applies to you. Thanks
Viv. Great, so I'll talk a bit around the financial and access support. So the course is free, it's fully funded, there aren't any hidden costs. We will not be asking for money at any point in the programme. We also know that people face barriers to engaging in training. So we work really hard to make our opportunities as accessible as possible. So if you want to discuss your access need prior to applying, then you're really welcome to get in touch. Your application won't be rejected on the grounds of your access needs. Firstly, because that is illegal, and secondly because that is, we are here to support access needs. We're here to make this accessible and as inclusive a space as possible. So you're really welcome to talk to us about it beforehand. You can also talk to us about it at any point during the process, and also acknowledging sometimes people's access needs change. So at application, you might not have any, you might not feel you have any, but through the programme that might change. So again, that's always an open conversation. So we will cover all of the expenses. So your travel, parking, we're aware that parking in Bristol is really expensive. You might have childcare costs that need support in order to be able to attend. That for us all counts as access, because that would be a barrier as to why you wouldn't be able to attend. It might be that you need therapeutic support with your own therapist outside of sessions to process what's happened. Again, that is very much an access support, an access need in the way that we run our company. You may also have other access support, such as the need for British Sign Language interpretation, a sighted guide, PA, us to be able to provide materials in different formats. So there's lots of different things. Just talk to us about it if you're unsure. We also have a training bursary of £500 for all attendees. We're aware that you may need to take time off work to come to this or turn down other opportunities. So that's to support you to be able to attend. We acknowledge it's 10 weeks is a big commitment. We'll also cover all course materials costs. That includes the material resources that you need to run your workshop. So for example, if you needed paints and canvases, then we would purchase those for your workshop to be run. We'll also provide light refreshments. The only thing that we can't provide at this time is lunches. So we ask people to bring a packed lunch with them to the course. Again, if that prevents a barrier though, then absolutely we can talk about that in terms of access. I did have someone say to me, it all sounds a bit too good to be true. Actually, we've just worked hard to raise the money to make this happen, along with our partners, because no one else is investing in our community in this way. And so it feels really important that we provide as much support as possible. That's not to say that we'll get it right. There might be things that we might miss. And so that's why this is always an open conversation with people we're working with.
There's a question. Yeah, shall I just someone has asked, what if you have led a few workshops in other contexts but want to develop leadership skills further? So I would say apply for the course, come and see if it's right for you. Absolutely, we have some applications already from people who have led lots of workshops, but want support to work specifically in this context, and also want support as a survivor leader. And so yes, I would say apply, and we'll be inviting, it will depend how many applications we get, but we'll be inviting shortlisted applicants to a workshop day, interview day. It's not really an interview day, it's a workshop day where we all get to meet each other, and then we'll be selecting people from there. But also that's you selecting us and checking, that's an opportunity to check if it's the right thing for you and if it's going to give you what you need. Great.
So I just want to talk about visibility. This programme is only open to CSA survivors. So by taking part, you will be identifying as a CSA survivor to other group members that are on the training programme, as well as identifying your survivor status to Viv and myself, who run Viv Gordon Company. And when you run your workshop, your creative workshop, at the end of the programme, you would need to feel comfortable being identified as a CSA survivor to the participants of that workshop you're leading, who will also predominantly be survivors and allies, supported by SARSAS and Greenhouse Project. However, we really know that being visible is a choice, and isn't right, isn't safe, isn't preferred for everyone. So outside of that group, we will not make people, we're not here to out people or make them visible in other spaces. So for example, if we're taking photos, you cannot, you can choose not to have your face in them. We do that a lot, where it's photos of hands or just the work being done. We won't publicize a list of names on our website. Some people want to be visible, and therefore in those contexts, absolutely, you can put your name front and center for those that are comfortable, for those that want to be tagged on social media. So basically you get to choose, and we will help you manage your preferred level of visibility or anonymity, can't say that word, as you need. So our ambition as a company is not for everyone to be a visible survivor. Visibility is about a collective visibility for our community, and there's lots of different ways to do that feel safe, feel comfortable, and where you have choice, you have your choice honoured. I think, is there any questions? Oh, good. We've just had something in the chat to say that thank you. Good. So last but not least, I'll just run through the application process. So there is a short online form to complete. It's a Google form. The questions are also in the info pack on our website, so that you can look at them before you start looking at the form. You might want to, jot some notes down somewhere else before you start filling in the form, or get someone to help you with that. You can also, if you prefer, record a video and audio or an audio file answering those questions and email that to us. I think probably the thing to say is that we're not looking for perfectly beautifully written applications in the way that you might imagine. We really aren't about being formal and about being perfect and about being polished. So write as much or as little as you want to in those answers, and write in a way that feels natural to you, or speak in a way that feels natural to you if you're doing an audio or video recording. If you want to talk about any additional needs that you have for the application, perhaps the application itself is a barrier to you, drop us a message and let us know. You can contact me on our email address, or you can text or call me if you prefer. The deadline for applications is Wednesday, the 30th of November. That means right to the end of the day. We'll actually look at them on the 31st. So that you really have that full day. The reason we haven't said 9 a.m. on the 31st is because some people
it's the 1st of December.
Not the yes, the reason we haven't said 9 a.m. on the 1st yes is because you might be filling it in and then have a question, and so you might then want to ask us a question, and so I can't then do that at 9 a.m. on the deadline. So that's why we're making it to the end of day on there. But on that day, if you've got questions or the form isn't working for you or anything like that, you're welcome to get in touch and we'll support you to get your application in. And we're going to have an interview day. It's more of a workshop. As Viv says, it's for us to get to know you, but also for you to check us out. It's got to feel right for everyone in the space. And there's lots of different things that you'll be thinking about and checking us out for before you say that you definitely want to do it as well. So they'll be held in person on Friday, the 9th of December in a central Bristol venue. And that's the end. So there might be a couple more questions in here.
There is a question about, will there be any study or written work outside of the sessions? Is there an assessment at the end or something for CV purposes? So in terms of study or written work outside of the sessions, there will be no sort of obligatory homework. There might be suggestions of things that you might like to do for yourself to sort of grow your own learning, but there'll be nothing that you have to do outside of the sessions. Hopefully we'll manage to do everything in the sessions, I guess. No, that is true. We'll be doing everything in the sessions. There'll be enough time to do all the planning and things like that. But we also know that creative people, you know, being creative is a very expansive experience. And so, you know, you don't sort of switch it off when you leave the session. So it might be that we're planning something in the session and then you go away and it develops in your head while you're away, but there'll be nothing sort of required. We don't have any assessment. Obviously, you'll be able to put on a CV that you've done the course. We could definitely think about if there's some sort of, there's no accreditation or anything like that, but we could definitely think about if there's something that would be useful for people in that respect. We haven't actually thought of that, so thank you so much for flagging that up.
I feel like I'll be making a certificate or something if people want them. That would be a nice job for me.
That's so nice.
And there's another question here about whether you need to have a fully realised idea about what you want to lead when you write the application. The answer to that is absolutely not. The point of the programme is that we will help you work that out. You might have lots of ideas of things that you might want to try. You also might, for example, Viv was saying about walking earlier, it might be like, actually what I like doing is walking. There's probably something creative in that, but I don't know yet. That's absolutely fine. So you can be really vague, or if you feel like there's something specific that you want to do, you can also tell us that, but there's no need to feel like you need to lock anything down at this point. And also it might change throughout the program anyway. You might come in saying you want to teach crochet and then you end up wanting to do singing, and that's all fine.
Yes, I think the other thing to say about that is that you know, lots of creative people have lots of different sort of strings to their bow, and part of what we'll be doing, because the workshop that you'll deliver as part of this course will be like a 2-hour workshop. So some things like ceramics, for example, to go through that full process of making, firing, glazing something takes lots longer than 2 hours, and so it wouldn't be a practical thing to do in that time. So we'd be helping you think about what would be practical to deliver in a 2-hour workshop, but all the skills that you'd be learning will be transferable skills to different creative talents, to different environments, to different roles that you might have in your life. So yes, just to reinforce that we'll go on that journey together.
Thank you. So I'm just going to give a minute to see if there's any other final questions at this point, because we've reached 15:15. Suddenly I thought 45 minutes was going to be very hard to fill, but of course, as ever, there's so much to say. If you go and process what we've talked about and then find, oh, I wish I'd asked this question, or now I've got a question, you can absolutely get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us via email or through our social media channels. And my number is also there for text or phone call if that's a preferred method of communication. So Karen is just going to pop those back in the chat. They are also on our website. And a reminder that this video will be has been recorded, so will be put on our website probably tomorrow now, because we have to do some technical fiddling with it to get it ready to go on our website. So that'll probably go up tomorrow, but so you can rewatch it. And also, if you think whilst you've been listening today that there's other people that you'd like to share it with, please do share it with anyone in your communities that you think might find this interesting. And last but not least, a reminder about signposting. So Karen might just pop that in the chat, but the Survivors Trust is the national network. There is a helpline for that, and also SARSAS is the is our partner, and also there's helplines for them that covers Southwest area specifically. Anything else you want to say before we play some nice exit music, Viv?
No, only just thank you so much for joining us, and I can see lots of thank yous and lovely messages in the chat, so that's really lovely to receive those. I'm glad it's felt useful, and we're looking forward to receiving lots of lovely applications. Bye.
Great.
Bye.